Hi again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of RV Business Capital Talk, sponsored by RXL. I'm Rick Kessler from RV Business, and with me, as always, Sherman Goldenberg from RV Business. And joining the two of us this afternoon is Jarrod McGhee. Jarrod, of course, is the founder and CEO of Funtown RV. We were just asking Jarrod before we hit the record button how many locations he was up to, and apparently that whatever count that is growing as we speak.
Well, it's 23 that are up and running. We've got about 4 in progress, and we're going to announce one of them today with you guys. So,
well, let's go for it. What's the announcement?
we purchased international RV wholesalers out of Elkhart, and it's going to remain an exclusive Forest River store. It's going to be called Funtown RV Factory Connect Forest River, and that transaction should be completed by probably the end of the month or so here, and we'll have a Funtown sign up and be selling RVs out of the capital of the RV world up there in Elkhart.
You don't let much dust settle, Jarrod.
Well, can't get in trouble if you stay working all the time, Sherman,
Congratulations. Now, is that in addition to the what you already have in Elkhart, the Excellence Center?
Yes. The Excellence Center is still remaining right there. The Thor products and the other products that I carry will remain down there. And we're opening a second PDI facility. We're going to try to get this year. Our goal is by the end of the year to have 100% of our inventory going through the quality control check in Elkhart. I think everybody knows that COVID boom was blessing in a lot of areas, but it also was not in some of the ways where we kind of got our production out ahead of what we could maintain the quality on. And we're going to try to get back to having 100% of the units quality checked in Elkhart before they leave.
Okay.
So let me get this straight. Pardon me, Rick. You got 23 stores.
23.
And you're adding 24.
Adding number 24 right now.
And there's others in the works. Is that something we can talk about?
There's 4 more right now in the works, so I'll be able to come back on and announce probably 2 of them next month with you if you want. But
wow,
yeah, there's a lot of opportunity out there right now, and I waited until the equity money craze that was doing a little crazy overspending got out of the way, and things got back to realistic times. And now I'm going to be expanding when things are a little more normalized.
Okay. Well, let me run down this, because obviously Texas, that's your home base, but you're also in Oklahoma, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Nebraska, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And are we going? Excuse me for prying, but are any of those new locations going to be outside of those states?
Absolutely, yes.
I
love that smile. That's great.
I figured. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, go ahead, Rick.
Well, no, the Forest River one, the one that you're working on right now, you said that was a Forest River exclusive?
Absolutely going to be Forest River exclusive. We're teaming up with Forest River. We're coming out this week with a program called Funtown Fix It, and we're going to be teaming up with Forest River. And it's a way to help all these customers that bought during COVID, who bought from a dealership who's either no longer in business or has cut their staff dramatically and can't get out there and fix some of the customers' problems. Anybody that's not aware of how much we need to be putting emphasis on taking care of those customers that bought during COVID and maybe not got the experience they should have or got a lesser product they should have. We're going to be trying to step up. Even if they didn't buy from me, I'm going to try to get out there and get in front of this and make those customers know that the RV industry is a good industry to be spending their money in, that we stand behind our products. I mean, I do a lot of business with the Forest River and Thor for a reason, because they always back up their products, and we want those customers to know that there are dealerships they can go to and get them fixed, even if the one they purchased from is not handling the business correctly.
Very nice. Sherman, did you have a question? You look like you did.
How'd you know? What this program you're telling us about now, the Fix It, you say?
Funtown.com you can go to, or there's dealers groups on social media.
It's across the board with your stores?
Any one of my stores will be able to help, but we have a specialized call center, and we are actually opening up some specialized service centers to do nothing but retail and warranty service work for anybody that bought anywhere, not from just a Funtown location.
Huh.
We'll have body shops in them as well, and I'll use my connections with the manufacturer. If something something wasn't conveyed to a manufacturer on a problem on a unit, the dealership they were dealing with was not doing a good job handling, I'm going to communicate it back up. There's a lot of good folks in the RV industry, and we try to do the right thing most of the time. And sometimes things get lost in the wash, and I think we need to get out there and stem some of the public sentiment thinking that we just built a lot of RVs and don't care about the customer after the fact. I don't try to just sell an RV. I want to make that customer, sell them 7, 8 RVs over their lifetime. They get around the campfire talking, and they think that if we don't care about them, they're going to spend their travel dollars in other areas. And I think it's important for the entire industry to get out there and get in front of this. I'd give us a failing grade on how we handled COVID as the industry. We overproduced. They let some dealers get greedy, sell stuff for MSRP. I believe you remember me getting up there on the power breakfast and told everybody they got a little too greedy. They overproduced. They sold things for more than they were worth. We need to get out there and make this stuff right with the customers and stand up. And I know that's not a popular thing to be saying right now. There's a lot of people not making much money right now, but this is a long-term game we're playing here. We need to be thinking 10, 15, 20 years down the line. And if we don't take care of all these customers we just sold in the last 2 years, and then these smaller dealerships, these pop-up dealerships, and some of these conglomerates that don't understand the industry, they don't do these customers right, we're going to lose these customers forever. So I'm going to do what I can from my end. I know there's a couple other operators out there doing the same thing, trying to step up and take care of these orphan customers, these customers that haven't been treated properly.
Is this okay? I'm thinking for a segue to the market in general, Rick. What are you seeing out there? We're all hearing this and that, of course, and trying to get the bottom line on the big picture. What are you seeing, Jarrod?
Retail sales, I'm about even where I was last year on a store by store basis. Some guys are down. I think nationally it's down about 10% retail. And we do this to ourselves every few years. They need to slam the brakes right now in production. That's not going to be popular to be said. Every month you guys produce an article saying registrations are down. Then there's 2 weeks later, there's one, shipments are up. Well, if shipments are up 12% and registrations are down nationally 10%, there's going to be that same big yard full of inventory out there that's sitting out there for no reason at all, getting lot rot and getting rusted. They shouldn't be building opens right now. It's bad for the industry. Then it ends to people have to fire sell things when the winter gets ill or the current fulfillments come due. One of these days, the industry is going to look in the mirror and go, we don't need to ship product to the market on a one turn. If we're shipping it on a one turn to the dealer, they're selling it on a one turn. That's not healthy for us, the dealer. It's not healthy for the manufacturer. It's not healthy for the customer because they got aged inventory they're always buying. It'll normalize one day. One day we'll wake up and realize we cannot ship on a one turn out to the public.
No, knowing you've told them this.
They've heard this speech 100 times. I guarantee there's 4 or 5 guys going, I'm tired of hearing Jarrod say this, but it's the truth. If you're an operator and you're listening to this and you're turning your inventory one time a year, that is not going to work. These rates are not going to drop dramatically again. If they go down, it'll be a little bit, but you better get ready for this interest rate to stay about this level. It may back off a little bit, but the days of easy money to where you could buy inventory and only pay 2 or 3% to hold it on the ground, that was abnormal. Now we're back to normal times. You better turn your inventory 2.5 to 3 times a year. You don't need more than a 90 or 120 day supply on the ground, no matter what kind of deal you're getting offered from whoever's offering it to you. And if you're a manufacturer offering crazy deals because you built a bunch of open, then shame on you. Stop doing that. Take your pounding in the month you're in and let the industry get healthy, and then build on a more normalized basis. Slow down a little bit, and add some quality control to what you're doing.
Tech training, Rick, is that a good direction?
Yeah, my new dealership in Elkhart probably now. I'm probably going to have 30 people up there.
Thank you.
But it needs to be said, and we all know it. It's just we got to fight that greed off of pushing out those extra few units out in the field when the stores really don't need it out there.
Well, Jarrod, we definitely want to ask you about the Navarro College partnership that you just put in place here. But before we do, I think maybe based on what you just said, what's your thoughts on open house this year? I mean, what's Funtown going to do at open house?
Well, we'll go up and we'll look. Usually at open house, I go up and just look for what's new and exciting, what's creative. Last year at open house, I laughed the entire time hearing about decontenting and this and that. Customers are not dumb. They know what they want. You cannot, if you were selling cars, you cannot decontent a car and expect to sell it. You're not going to take power windows and locks off. You're not going to take power steering off. And that's basically what they were trying to convince everybody to do. You've got a large dealer group out there selling an RV with a side mount air conditioner, single axle with no spare tire, and acting like it's okay. Of course those customers are upset. They're having a flat tire and they don't have a spare. They're in a unit that if you open the door twice in an hour, you can't cool it back down. Decontenting is not the answer. I'm selling just as many Brinkleys that are some of the most expensive thing I sell, but I'm selling them because they have what the customer wants, their quality, and there's not a gap after they buy it that they have to take their unit back 15 times to get repaired. They get to go use it. So anybody that thinks that the answer to selling more fifth wheels is to sell single slide fifth wheels doesn't realize you're just taking your travel trailer buyer and selling them a fifth wheel. A true travel trailer buyer that wants to buy a quad slide fifth wheel is not going to buy a single slide little unit. And we built the whole market up full of them because they had a little bit of success. Customers will pay for quality and they'll pay for what they want. But you cannot take power jacks off a laminated trailer to make it a little bit cheaper and think the customer doesn't realize it doesn't have something they want on it.
So what are you hoping to see out there?
What's that? Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just curious. What would you like to see at open house then? Quality.
That's all they need to be thinking about right now is quality. How do we make that customer, that trailer live at the dealership in the end user state? If the automobile industry could ship cars out in the industry that had no batteries, no fuel in them, and no oil in them, and tell the dealer to make them right, how well do you think those cars would perform when they hit their lot? They wouldn't. But our industry ships travel trailers out that's never had gas in them, never had a battery on them, and they don't want to put a battery on them because then they'd have to make sure none of them have a dead short from day one. They should leave the factory in end user condition with a checklist for every dealer that says, do these 12 things to make sure it's right for the customer, and you need these tools to do it, and it needs to test this quality assurance test. That's why I'm building another PDI center in Elkhart. That's what I do at every one of my stores. It costs me a little more money, but my customers are happier, and I don't have to hide my head when I say I own Funtown RV.
You're building another PDI store in Elkhart, in addition to the one you already have, correct?
Yes.
Tell us a tad about that and your motivation there.
I want to go to 100% of my RVs when they leave the factory before they arrive at the store to be quality inspected, complete PDI, gas on them, batteries on them, end user condition. I have 24 stores now. It's very hard to create 24 quality checkpoints across the United States with 24 different stats. But having one or two facilities where I can make sure every RV I sell leaves there in at least a minimum quality condition is a lot easier than trying to do it as I spread it out across the country.
Okay. So let's circle back. Earlier on, you were talking pretty good about all of the service needs that are out there with the Funtown Fix It. The Navarro College partnership. Tell us about that, because that's a big deal.
Yes, it is, and I want everybody to understand this is not a Funtown deal.
Okay.
I grew up in Corsicana, Navarro County, and it was a Navarro College, a very big college. I believe they have a show on Netflix for the cheer dance team that's on there. It's pretty well known. And I was doing a charity event out there, and I saw the John Deere Tech Institute there. And I asked the dean of the college, what was that about? And he said, well, this is one of the 16 different junior colleges across the country that have a tech training program for parts, service technicians. They teach them basic computer skills. They have an immersion clinic there. And John Deere shoots about 20, 25 students a semester out at each one of these colleges that are trained technicians that's interned at a dealership. And by the time those kids get out of their 2-year program, They have a job waiting on them. Their college is paid for. I said, man, we should have that in the RV industry. So 3 years ago, I started working with RVTI and some of the Jason Lippert with some of his training programs. I flew the dean of the college up there several times, and now we have an RV training program that matches the same John Deere program. We just mirrored it, but this is not a Funtown deal. At this point, we just need dealers to start sponsoring students to go in. I'm doing the first 20 scholarships for year one, as well as I put some money in to build the initial building. But this is to go all over the country to any state that has a junior college in it. These are going to be accredited courses. You're going to be able to get grant money from the government to help put the students through it. My average certified technician in the company is almost 45 years old now. It's getting older every year. This is to go to the high schools to get the young people who don't even know that there are jobs that they can make this kind of money in and get your college paid for. This is an outreach program to the kids. This isn't about training technicians that are already in the field.
Okay. Okay. So we're trying to bring in new blood.
We've got to get that average age of our qualified technician down some. We do a lot of things really right in this industry, but recruiting that young blood into this industry has never been our strong suit. And I think that if we look at it now, maybe a year or two from now, we'll be back up to doing maybe 500,000 new registrations a year. Well, we don't have near enough techs to support that. So if we want to hit that 500,000, we better build the infrastructure with the technicians to do it.
Is that what you think as far as a turnaround, let's call it, of the industry? Jarrod, is it coming? Is it next year?
It's next year. I've never had an election year. I've been doing retail car sales and RV sales for 30 years. I never had an election year beat the year before. And everybody thinks if their guy don't get elected, the world's coming to an end no matter what side you're on, and it fills up the advertising channels. So if our 24 Q3 and 4 beats 23, I'd be shocked. But we get that inauguration behind us no matter who wins. And we get people back to focusing on real life and their day-to-day life and things that matter. We get maybe a little help with just interest rates dropping just a little bit on the retail side. I think we're going to catch some good wins in the spring of 25, and we'll be back on our way on the upswing.
Just in time for your next Dallas Cowboy show.
Absolutely. It's timeout perfect, won't it? Well, look at the Irish, huh?
Well, but that begs the question, is Dak Prescott going to be there?
Well, if Dak wants to be, he will be. I'll tell you that. I'm a diehard Cowboy fan, so I'm one of those guys that thinks we're going to win the Super Bowl every year. In fact, tonight I'm going over to Michael Irv is a good friend of mine. I'm going over to the club, and he's opening up. It's called Playmakers. It's a little sports bar where he does his podcast, and tonight's the grand opening of Playmakers there and over in the Colony. So I'll see Dak there tonight, and I'll let him know y'all telling him it's about time to win the Super Bowl.
Well, he's due for a pretty good payday. I believe this is a contract year.
They need to pay that man his money.
We're close to the home stretch here. Do you have a goal of a number of stores that you could mention? What's the grand plan?
My plan is that everybody in America is supposed to buy an RV from me. And if all my stores are busy and all my salespeople are busy, then they can buy one from somebody else.
It's rare that you hear it in so many words. But Rick, you want to sew it up?
I think we're done. Jarrod, always a pleasure, sir.
All right. Tell them to get that quality straight up there. You guys are up there more often than I am. Go around and say, hey, it's time to get this thing fixed.
I might get in trouble doing that, but yeah.
You stay in trouble, Sherman. It'll be okay. You got the magazine. Nobody's gonna make you too mad.
That's true. Good point. Good point. Get on that, Sherm.
All right, I'm on it.
Jarrod, thank you again.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.